Because my whole life I bet on myself. Bro, I bet on myself. I had to bet on myself when nobody else did. And as a people, as a community, collectively, we have to bet on ourselves, bring it together so that we can uplift our people. But we can't have social loafers where you have one or two in the groups not doing what they're supposed to do and then others are picking up. Stop letting the algorithm control what you watch. Watch my full interview on INeverKnewTV.com Premium.
I question young brothers that come from a certain environment. Can they learn that resilience, that persistence, and that work ethic outside of sports? Now, an average person say yes, a boy can, but it has to be in a certain environment with certain resources that most of our boys don't.
You know, when you think about that, like when people ask me, man, who's the best player you played against, right? So, you got LeBron, you got Shaq, you got Michael Jordan, you got Kobe, you got Charles Barkley, you got Tim Duncan, you got all these players. They were better than me, of course, but I competed. I always felt I had a chance because I bet on myself. So when I work with young people, especially in the hood, I'm like, look, man, or sister, you got to bet on yourself. If you're not going to bet on yourself, who is?
Yeah, I roll that dice.
Yeah, like in my neighborhood, we used to play craps. And I remember when my mom whooped my butt because I was watching craps. She's like, you boy, you ain't supposed to be around there, right? But you see the guys and they shaking the dice and they roll and they talking to us, 7-Eleven, take me to heaven, right? You see that, right? And then you're like, man, how they manipulating these dice, right? Some of them were weighted too, right? And then they found out they got beat down. But we got to teach our kids how to bet on yourself. That's what you talk about. I don't care who I'm playing against. Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett. I mean, I had to watch Karl Malone, all the power forwards. I'm coming off the bench too because I play behind C. Webb. I play behind C. Webb, so I had to guard those guys coming off the bench.
He was at the end of Hakeem's career too.
Yeah,
right?
Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah, and then when Hakeem and Kevin Willis played together, Kevin was strong. He played center, and then Keem moved to power forward. So I had to guard Hakeem. Fortunately, it was toward the end of his career, right? So that helped me out. But David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Pick your poison.
Like, this is a wild area.
Yeah, pick your poison, right? So, but I competed. And I remember a guy, Tony Delk, who played at Kentucky. We were playing in an all-star game when Ohio State was playing in New Orleans with Jared Sullinger, and then they were playing Kentucky. So Kentucky ended up winning that. And he was telling all the guys, Tim Hardaway, all these guys from AC Green, all these guys who played. Now, I ended up winning the MVP of the game. He told the guys on his team, because we played against him, he's like, man, Fundy is hyper competitive. He only wants to win. Dude, like, I'm winning. Because my whole life I bet on myself. Bro, I bet on myself. I had to bet on myself when nobody else did. And as a people, as a community, collectively, we have to bet on ourselves, bring it together so that we can uplift our people. But we can't have social loafers where you have one or two in the groups not doing what they're supposed to do and then others are picking up.
I like that, social loafer.
Yeah, we can't have that. Not when we're behind. Well, we're already behind the game. We can't have any social loafers. You got to do some work.
This ties into something you said earlier, right? And you spoke, I forgot the terminology. Basically, you're saying you have to be able to put the work in, not knowing how the outcome's going to be.
Right.
And I think what I've learned, especially teaching kids in the quote-unquote inner city, whatever you want to call, they cannot deal with putting effort into something and not having the absolute outcome.
That's right. That's
like, that is not a thought. That is not an option. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles.
Yeah. But if we think about that, think about you're putting in work. Let's say going back. So I had less distractions. You had less distractions, right? Back in the day. So we have to be honest with the kids. They have so many more distractions, right? So I always say basketball, I always treated the basketball like my girlfriend because she was always ready to go. She didn't talk back, right? And she was always on time. I love basketball. I still play to the day. And people say, man, like you're 54, man, you stand like what? Like, stay in shape. Okay, my hairline is receding a bit. But outside of that, I'm in phenomenal shape. What I eat, how I take care of my body. I go back in my body the way I feel like when I was 25 years ago. That's how I feel. I still dunk. With no guarantee for a contract, which I'm not trying to get.
That's great, yeah.
Dude, you playing. Yeah, stop playing. Yeah, I dunk. Especially when the young cats start talking trash because I'm from Ohio, which is a Buckeye state, but we might be from the show me state, because today's kids, they want you to show them.
Gotcha.
Don't tell them. And if not, they're going to look on internet and they're going to see what you say about yourself is true. But still, I have to show them. Because if I'm demonstrating success, they got to be able to see it in person, live, real, right? That's what these kids need. So that's why I do stay in shape, but I get inspiration. When I'm in the court, I just played yesterday. I go in there, I go hard, no one's watching me. When I miss free throws, like I did in the league, I run from one side to the other side because I'm a man of principle. And that's what we need. And that I need that. And I remember the game and what it did from a poor kid who was always told that he would never amount to anything but being a poor kid from the projects. I remember that. So that drives me. Do I have something to prove? People say, yeah, you got something to prove. You always got something to prove if you got enough oxygen in your body, you got air in your basketball, you got a shot at life. And as black people, as melanated people, how can we not try to do the best of our abilities given what our ancestors did? How can we shortchange them? It's not fair, especially with what they suffered, what they endured, right? We have to, and that's why we got to get people to buy into the work. The problem is the work is going to be painful, but the reward is going to be even better.